Okay, so this is like a typical one that you guys have in front of you. But the dials, okay, this is the stitch selector dial, this is the stitch length dial, the stitch width dial, this is the tension dial. Okay, it has all these things that we call settings, but we won't worry about that just yet. Let's start the threading. Like I said, we have 6 thread guides. This is a thread guide, that's our first one, so we go in like that, right? Some you have to go from the back, but from here, that's number 1. Number 2 is right here. We go in and we continue through the groove here. We come down and we look at the arrow. We have numbers and we have arrows. In this case, the arrows look white, so if you're not careful you won't see it white on white, but the good thing is that the numbers are black so you can see. Now this guy here loves to hide, so it's very important that you always have, just hold something. It's important that when it's down like this, you turn the hand wheel towards you so it comes up. With the brother, it doesn't usually come all the way up like this. With the singers, they do come up. When you have it up, you're in good company. You continue your journey to 4, which turns the arrow back up. So you come here, go to the back, there's a space behind it, and you bring your thread through that space. It's kind of a groove, but you want to end up in that hole, so it's there. Then you continue, that's number 5, and you see the arrow is going anti-clockwise. So the arrow is also guiding you while the thread guide is telling you where to go. Now, from number 5, we come down to number 6. Number 6 is pointing to this hook over here. It looks something like this, so that you just grab the thread, go behind it, and let the thread stay in there, so that the thread is not all over the place. And because you have metal parts and you don't want the thread to be caught on any of the metals, so they have these things deliberately to make sure your thread is harnessed. Now we're almost ready to thread the needle. So right above the needle, there's the last hook. Call it number 7. It doesn't really have a number. This is 6 right here, the big hook. The smaller hook is above the needle. It's like right near above the needle. It's part of the needle clamp. So you grab your thread. You will need both hands to hook that one. So we support or anchor one here, and then the other hand you go inside it and let your thread come out like this. After this hook and that hook, you are ready to thread your needle. The needle is such that there's the hole. The hole always stands. If you have a modern machine, the hole is like this. It's facing you. It's not sideways. There are machines that the hole is sideways. Those are like 60s and 50s and 40s machines. But today's machines, all of them have the hole facing you. So you're going straight from the front to the back. And what you do is make sure that you can find something like a white piece of paper, something white to put behind the needle, and make sure your needle is in the highest position. Okay, all right, let me use this. Once I put something light behind it, the hole becomes a whole lot bigger, so you can see. And we're going from front to back. We want to make sure our thread is sharp. You won't have a problem. You guys, your eyes are sharp, so you can see it goes from front to back, and you quickly string it. Okay, once it goes from front to back, your top threading is done. Okay, you leave it alone. Now you come to the bottom thread. When you're buying a machine, let me give you a tip. Any machine, new machine you intend to purchase, look for this kind of bobbin case. When I say bobbin case, you're going to open this. And this whole area is the bobbin area. This is the bobbin. This one right here is the bobbin. This area is the bobbin case. This is the bobbin area. And this is the bobbin case right here. But when you look at these two, there's a slight difference in the sense that this one doesn't have any arrow here like this one does. It has a plastic arrow right here that the thread goes under, and then there's this oval thing that the thread comes through, and there's a blade here that cuts the thread for you. It is the simplest form of bobbin insertion that I have found, okay? It's like the latest machines come that way. Brothers started the trend and now they're all following it. But before, this is how it was. Okay, so this is how you string your bobbin. You grab your bobbin, hold it like a wheel, right? Hold it like a wheel. Make sure your thread tail is coming on your left side of the bobbin. If you flip it, it would come on the right side. These two orientations make a world of a difference. This looks like a 9. It is absolutely the wrong way to go in. This looks like a P. This is the correct way of going in. If the way we try to remember is P for proper positioning, whatever P reminds you of, make sure your bobbin is in the P format. And in that position, you drop it inside the bobbin case. Give it a little pull. Now bring this thread tail under that plastic arrow right here. And then follow the journey around this oval and cut. There's a little blade here. It will cut it for you and you're ready to close it. That's it. The rest of them, you will have to do a couple of extra steps to bring the bobbin thread up. But this one, so remember, if you're making a buying decision for a sewing machine, you want to make sure your machine has this type of bobbin area or bobbin case. Okay, the wound thread thing is the bobbin. The whole case is the bobbin case. All right. Now, your top thread now goes through the split of, who knows the name of this? Presser foot. We call it presser foot. If you remember what your feet do, what do you do with your feet? You walk with your feet. That's what the presser foot does. It's called a foot for a reason. It walks on your fabric, okay? So we're going to test to see if we threaded it correctly. One thing that students love to do when they are messing up in the threading process, they say, "Can you check and see what I did? Did I did this right? I did this right?" I'm like, let's test it. Once you test it, the machine will let you know through the stitching if you did it right or wrong. Now, we bring our fabric and put it there. We come to the stitch selector. We are always going to test with a straight stitch, so it's right where it needs to be. And then the stitch length, the average stitch length is 3. Okay, these are in millimeters. The smaller the number, the smaller the stitch. 3 is the average. 4 is the largest. And when you sew on 4, you can easily pull. So when we're doing gathers, we use 4. But let's put it on 3. And then we're not doing zigzag. When you're doing zigzag or any of these other designs, you can give it width. But now we put it on 0 because we're not dealing with width. And then this is called the tension dial. It is always on 4 from the manufacturer's settings. You do not touch it. Leave it at 4 unless you're getting into making leather, pleather, vinyl, upholstery fabric. Then you might bring it to 3. But for even that, keep it at 4, okay? Now, the one thing that students always, I'm not even going to joke about that. They always forget it, right? But that's a beginner issue, so I don't fault you for that. This is the presser foot, this is the presser foot lift. Sometimes it's on the side, sometimes it's in the back. This thing here, it lifts and it puts back down. It lifts, yours is on the side. It, yeah, it lifts the presser foot and it puts it down. When students are about to sew, they don't know much about the machine, they forget to put it back down. So what you do is remember that you don't walk on air. You as a person, you walk on the ground and gravity keeps you down, right? In the same way, you do not want to keep your presser foot up like this. But I can't tell you how many times beginners forget because it's in the back. You know, you're not familiar. So, and it was so. But it was so what I call gibberish at the bottom. Yeah. Once you see that, you know there's something wrong. But always remember, you don't walk on air. So put it back down. And now we're ready to row. Now, you put your foot on the pedal. Those of you who are using the pedal, the fastest part of the pedal is here. I know I'm talking fast, but I'll send you the video, don't worry. This is the part that is very, very fast. So don't put your foot there, it will overwhelm you. This is the slowest. And so you put your foot around the middle somewhere, okay? That's how you control it. And then you just start. And I love the sound of this machine. It's so soft. It just does what it needs to do. You lift, you pull. If it's not coming, you turn the hand wheel just a little bit and it will release it for you. There you go. You want to pull it away from the machine, not here. You pull it up to this point and cut close to the fabric and you check your testing, okay? It's flat in the back, in the front, everything is good. So your testing is correct. It means your top threading and your bottom threading is wonderfully done. You can turn it off now.